Hello, 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 everyone. All right. So hopefully you have been enjoying this event and learning all about this incredible company and this incredible opportunity. But one of the things that I really want to do and wanted to do over the course of, well, first, this live event that we kicked off, but second, just the ongoing education and training and value that we're adding into this space, is that I want to share information with you that you can use outside of this opportunity with Frequence, that you can begin to use and implement in your life straight away in any and all business opportunities that you're vetting or that you're deciding to participate in. Hi, Lucy from Alaska. I lived in Alaska in second grade for a year in Kotzebue. I was quite traumatized by it, actually. It was a big culture shock for a city girl to move to Kotzebue, Alaska, where it was dark half the year and they served unpasteurized milk at school, which is so much better for you, right? But I was so it was just such a shock. And I was going to school with Alaskan kids. It was, I'm sure, a great experience. But every time I see Alaska, I'm like, oh, that was a rough, second grade was rough. Okay, so I digress though. Okay, so let's talk about 7 streams of income. So for those of you that don't know, as I went through my dark night of the network marketing soul experience over the last year, one of the things that I had a realization about was what I see so many people do wrong in business is put all their eggs in one basket. So they put all their eggs in one basket and they believe that nothing's going to change in relation to where their perceived safety, stability, and security is coming from. So whether that's a 9-to-5 job, right? You've followed all the rules, you've done what you're supposed to do, you've gone to school, you've gotten the degree, you've gotten the job, you're actively working at your Fortune 500 company. Now, obviously, there's lots of different scenarios and situations that we could input here, but we have false beliefs around what is safe, stable, secure. I really believe that, since 2020, we've had a collective awakening about this, right? What we once believed was safe, stable, secure is no longer. We see companies going out of business all the time. Job security is not really a thing. And so in that, I teach and continue to teach that I really, truly believe that you are your only guarantee. It's just you, right? It's not your retirement fund. It's not your pension. It's not your company that you believe you're going to work for until you retire. It's you. I saw and have seen, and I'm actually seeing it again right now, unfortunately, which makes me incredibly sad. From a network marketing perspective, I see people have a lot of success in companies, and they become the sole breadwinner in their family. They retire their husbands or they retire their wives, and they put all their eggs in this network marketing basket with a company that they believe is going to be around forever. And then the company implodes and the company goes away. And then those people are at risk of losing everything. But they've banked on, oh, this check, it's so good. This opportunity, it's so good. This experience, it's so good. My reality is this right now. It's always going to be that. I don't believe that. It's one of the things that I love so much about this Frequence opportunity is there's no handcuffs. This company is not saying you can only work for us. This company is saying, absolutely, go out and set yourself up with multiple diversified streams of income so that you are protected. Okay. So I saw a couple of things. I saw people having put all their eggs in one basket and then the basket going away and all the eggs cracking, and then they're left with nothing. I saw that happening for several reasons. I saw that happening because people became very invested in one path and one way of doing things. And I also saw that happening because other network marketing companies say you can only sell this product, you can only work within this company. So I was disheartened by that. I have seen multiple people lose jobs at companies that they thought they would work for forever in downsizing or in advancement of technology. We are literally in the middle of a technological revolution, and people's jobs are being replaced by computers and AI at a scale that like we didn't think we would ever see in our lifetime. Jobs like lawyers that we thought there would always be a space for are getting replaced by AI, right? So you're your only guarantee. And in order to be really, really successful in creating safety, stability, and security for yourself, you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So as I was going through this dark night of the soul, and I was having these realizations, and I was having these aha moments, and I was also really looking at how I had done this for myself, even though I felt like at a certain time I had these diversified streams of income, I recognized and realized that all of them were still dependent upon me showing up. So while I had activated multiple streams of revenue, if I was sick or I got sick or something happened to me, all of them went away. So I put all my eggs in the me basket, but not just the me basket, in the Leah trading time for money. And so I began to evaluate what I really felt like would be needed to have a great portfolio of diversified income streams. This is when the 7 Streams Collective and the 7 Streams movement came to me, because I was like, okay, the average millionaire, we know this, the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Hold on just one second. Okay, sorry, just people talking in the background distracting me. So the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. Now, that's great. We can be like, yep, go activate 7 streams of income. But if we don't qualify what that looks like and what that means, you're not going to have success at anything, because you can't go spread yourself out thin over 7 different areas, right? You can't go activate 7 different businesses at once and expect to be successful in those 7 businesses. So what I want to talk to you about today is the percentages that we focus on in those 7 streams of income. Okay. So I believe that you should be spending 80% of your time on 2 of your streams of income. The other 20% of your time should be spread against the other 5 streams of income. I sometimes like to think of it as turning on faucets, right? So your primary stream of revenue that's in your 80%, right? So 80% of your time on 2 streams of revenue. Within there, you're likely going to have a primary, right? And depending upon what that primary is, depending upon whether it's actually a 9-to-5, or it's your own brick and mortar business, or it's a coaching business, or you're a healer, or you're an energy worker, like depending upon what that business is, you might be spending 60% of your 80% on that, or you might be spending 80% of your 80% on that. That main income stream, that main source of income, you are putting the majority of your time towards, because it is yielding you the highest return on investment. It is the thing that creates the most safety, stability, and security for you in your life at that moment. So if you are a network marketing leader, top leader in a network marketing company, that is your primary, right? And you might be spending 70% of your 80% focused on cultivating, nourishing, nurturing, and growing that stream of revenue. And that's okay. But you don't want to be spending 100% of your 80%, and you don't want to be spending 100% of your 100%, right? because it's not your company and you're not in control of it. And you don't know if it's going to go away, you know, and even let's say you have your own business and you have your own brick and mortar business, or you have your own coaching business. Let's say you're a coach in the online space. What happens if the internet goes down? There are things beyond our control, which is why we really want to have these diversified streams of income. Okay. So you have to decide how you split that up between the things that you're spending 80% of your time on. My belief is that those two things should not be the same thing. Where you're spending your 80%, it should not be the same thing. Maybe one is, let's just say me, right? Like I have a coaching business. So one thing is my coaching business, and then another thing is my network marketing company. That's where I'm spending 80% of my time, is in those two opportunities. And depending on what's going on in those businesses, those percentages, that 80% might shift between those two things. But, you know, at any given time, I'm going to be spending 70% of my time on my coaching business and 30% of my time on my network marketing business. And I'm focused on growing and cultivating those businesses because those two are giving me my biggest return on investment of my time, my energy, and my money. Then I've got all these other little faucets turned on, and they're making me money. And so for me, in my business and in my streams, I have a couple of affiliate opportunities. They're different companies, but I have a couple of different affiliate opportunities. I have one opportunity that pays me like 6 different ways, which is amazing. So it's kind of like a 6-in-1, and it's one of my 5. But, and then I've got, you know, a couple that are just straight affiliate opportunities. I spend very little time on them, but I get a good return on investment. And they're an additional stream of revenue that if one of my main 2 were to disappear, let's say my network marketing company that I'm associated with implodes, I'm like, oh, I can immediately go focus that 30% of time on one of these affiliate opportunities because it's already there. It's already growing. Literally all I'm doing, instead of like, you know, it trickling out of the tap, now I'm turning the tap on more, so more water's flowing. And then I'm immediately looking for something to replace that stream of revenue. So affiliate opportunities are great. Partnerships, angel investment opportunities. I believe that one of your 5 needs to be a passive income stream. It should be purely passive. You should have at least one income stream that's making you money and you don't have to do anything, that you were able to just invest either upfront time and energy or invest upfront money that is then paying you a passive return that you're not having to do anything for other than maybe, you know, check in on it and make sure it's doing okay. Maybe you're spending 2% of your time on that passive income stream and it's just ticking over. It's just making you money. So you've got this stable, right? Ideally, all 7 are not connected to each other. That's not always possible. So sometimes, you know, you've got, like for me, I have the Leah Steele brand, and underneath that umbrella, I have my podcast network and I have my coaching business. And so those are all, you know, so while the podcast network is one of my 5 streams, it really does fall underneath one of my primaries. So sometimes there's some crossover, right? But ideally, you would have 7 diversified streams of income, not just within different types of opportunities, but also within different industries. Do not be afraid to branch out into things that you don't know, right? So one of my affiliate opportunities is in software. One of my affiliate opportunities is in AI technology. One of my affiliate opportunities is skincare, right? My passive income stream is crypto. I have investments in all kinds of different things, right? Like many different types of investments that yield passive income. We have rental property income. So the mistake that I made initially was having all my income streams attached to me and me showing up. As I mentioned to you, I've learned my lesson. I'm now massively diversified. Okay. And so some of those things require a lot of my attention, and some of those things require a little bit of my attention. Just remember that you don't have any more than 100% of your time. As much as we would like to believe that the more we work, the more time we have, and then you burn yourself out like I'm prone to doing. You only have 100% of your time, okay? Like there's no 110%. Like that whole give 110% is bullshit. You can't give 110%. You can only give 100%, okay? So you only have 100% of your time. So choose wisely. And you should be constantly evaluating, especially so a lot of your time, okay? A lot of the time that you spend on your other 5 income streams should be in the evaluation of if those income streams are working. Does that make sense? Evaluating the data. Because here's the thing, your 2 primaries, you're in those businesses. You're in it, right? You're in it day to day. You're experiencing it. You know what's going on. You're constantly evaluating your time, energy, money investment into those things. It's almost second nature to you. You're like, if I shift this is going to work out better. You can easily navigate depending on what's going on in the businesses. You can easily shift, 1 month it might be like, oh, now I've really got to spend 40% of my time in my secondary because it needs some help right now. And you know how to make those changes in your primary so that it doesn't negatively affect that part of your business. So those ones, we're really focused on that. We know how to do it. But somehow when we get into the other 5, we stop looking at data. We stop evaluating if those things are actually working for us. And so you should be committing a healthy percentage of your 20% to monthly evaluation of how those are working for you. And if you're not getting a return on investment on one of them, it's out. Get rid of it. Go find something else that you are getting a return on investment on, right? One other little tip is 60% of these things should be fun. Like 60% of your 7 things you should be lit up by. I'm not going to say 100% because the reality is that often we end up making the most amount of money from stuff that is not our passion, is not our purpose. And that's just a reality. I know that spiritual people would love for you to believe that if it's not aligned and if it doesn't light you up and, if it's not a full energetic match, that you shouldn't be doing it. But in the world of real finance and money, that's actually not true. Like like boring shit makes you money sometimes. Boring investments make money. Passive income streams typically aren't sexy. So be aware of that. But you should be having fun. Yeah, property management is not the sexiest thing. I mean, maybe somebody's turned on by that, but for me, I'm not like, oh, those 2 apartments at that, at BYU University, that's like, woohoo, I get my rocks off on that. No, it's just a great income stream, right? So definitely but if you're not having fun and you're not lit up, you're not going to be motivated to be in that place of evaluation. For me, what is sexy is being like, oh, okay, what if I sold that property and invested in this other market, and that's going to yield me more return on investment? Like the evaluation of the data is exciting to me. The evaluation piece to me, I like, because I like figuring out how to make more money. I like figuring out how to expand. Because while you only may have 100% of your time, you can always expand the return on investment that you get on that time. So that's where you really need to be focused. So look at the data. If something's not working, don't be afraid to let it go. Don't be afraid to look for something that excites you more. Don't be afraid to look for something that will yield you a bigger return on investment. That requires education. So in that 20%, another big part of that 20% should be you educating yourself on the different industries that you are diversified in. If you're just putting money somewhere and you're not paying attention to what's going on in that industry, and you're not paying attention to what the advancements are, and you're not paying attention to how that industry is evolving, that's not it. You should be evaluating the data of what's actually happening in your income streams and educating yourself on all the industries that you're invested in. You should be continually looking for what's new. You should be continually looking for what's pioneering. You have to be willing to take a little bit of risk. So 80% on 2 of your income streams, 20% on the other 5. Of the 20%, the majority of it you are spending on data analysis and education. Okay. And then management. Are we clear on this? What questions do you have? Any questions?
Leah, I've got a question in relation to the education part. So, you know, do you tend to follow people within those industries? Like, how do you tap into some really solid information to start to get ahead and pioneering in the trends of what's happening within an industry?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I like to call this my virtual mentors, right? So I find people that I really like and respect and resonate with in the industries where I'm invested, and I go follow their podcast. I follow their social media. I, buy their book. I invest in their course sometimes if they've got one, right? And then in my, when I'm at the gym, I'm almost always listening to a podcast. So while I'm doing my workout, I've got all my podcasts there that I follow, and I'm listening to a podcast. I'm educating myself. I'm learning. I'm always reading different books by different people that I respect in the industry. And honestly, YouTube is a great resource. Like, if you don't know who to follow in your industry, go to YouTube and just type in the industry or the thing and start going through and watching videos, right? Go through and who do you resonate with? Who, when they're speaking, you're like, oh yeah, this feels like truth. Oh yeah, this is something that excites me. I'm always doing that. I'm always looking for new people as well, because I want to be on the cutting edge. I love podcasts for this, you guys, because if you're following different podcasts in your industry, they'll have guests on, right? And then you'll be exposed to or introduced to new people that you can be like, oh yeah, now I want to go follow that person. So an example of this is I listen to and follow the Brad Lee podcast. And Bradley is a guy who rubs a lot of people the wrong way, but he has really cool guests on, and he has really cool guests in multiple different industries. So, and his show, I like going and listening to his shows because I'll go read the description of who the guest is. And then I'm like, oh yeah, great. Joe Rogan is another great one if you've got the 3-hour investment to listen to the show. But I listen on double speed while I'm working out. But Joe Rogan's another one. He has incredibly interesting people, right? Andrew Huberman, I love. There are certain podcasts that I listen to be introduced to people in different fields. So find yourself some virtual mentors. That's how I do it. And also, I think the more you start to do this, the more you start to be interested in this, you will attract people who are doing the same thing. And then in your conversations with them, ask them, oh, what's lighting you up right now? What's exciting to you? What are you investing in? You know, what are you investing your time and your energy into? What are you listening to? What are you reading? Like that, when we start to invest in those areas ourselves, we start attracting those people into our world. And then sometimes we forget to ask those incredible people who their virtual mentors are, what books they're reading, like who they're vibing at the moment. So I think that's also really important. Okay, some good questions over here. If you're just starting your 7 income streams, how would the percentage work and or change to have the best results? Okay, so first of all, you need to find a primary, right? So that's the first thing that you have to do is find a primary. What do you want to invest the majority of your time into? And then I would start looking for something that is aligned that, and I think this is very individual, right? It really depends. Like for me right now, like I'm super lit up by Frequence. And so I'm putting a lot of my time into Frequence. I also have an affiliate opportunity with Herbal Face Food that I love. Like, so I sort of evaluate your main 2 need to be stuff that you like, right? You don't really want those main 2 to bore you, because now if you become a multimillionaire, that might not be the case. Your number 2 might be something that you're not that interested in, but that you've just built because it's giving you a great return on investment. It may be something that, you're like, okay, I put 20% of my 80% into this thing. It doesn't completely light me up, but it yields me an epic return on investment, and it enables me to live the life that I want to live and to focus on all these other income streams. So, but when you're first starting out, your first 2 you should like, because you're putting the majority of your time and energy there, right? And honestly, for me, it's like, this is a radical idea for most people to even be open to the possibility of activating 7 diversified income streams. So just setting the intention that you're open to doing that and will help you be able to start seeing these opportunities. And if you're hanging out in my world, I'm constantly introducing people to opportunities. One of the things I do is vet opportunities. And so, if you're around me, I'm going to be like, hey, I've got this thing. Hey, this is happening. Hey, what about this? Hey, do you want to check this out? And then you decide, like, is that right for you? Are you excited about that? We've tried and attempted to launch this 7 Streams Collective on 2 different platforms at this point, and it's just not quite catching. So over the next several months, we will create a community space where we will have opportunities that you can go and explore. This is something that's really important to me. It is a priority of mine over the next several months. I do want to have a space where you can come explore different opportunities that you can go in and actually activate, opportunities that have been vetted by our 7 pillars. So yeah. That is definitely, I would decide what's going to be your primary and then start exploring, or at least opening yourself up to being introduced to something that could be your secondary. Okay. When in the starting phase, no brand identity and few followers, double down on just 2 or 3. Yeah. I mean, again, it's like, you've got to have 2 before you can have 3, before you can have 4, before you can have 5, before you can have 6, before you can have 7, right? It's a process to get to 7. So it's focus your attention, be open to being presented with additional opportunities, be willing to look in places that perhaps you weren't looking before. For me, I feel like it really is an openness. Once I started intentionally being open, I started seeing how, that could be actually a really good income stream. That could be something that I could spend very little time doing, and it could yield me a good return on investment. When previously, maybe I wouldn't have looked at it because I would have thought, oh, that's boring, or I don't really care about that, or that doesn't interest me, right? But looking at it from this mindset of, no, like I need to have 7 diversified income streams, then opens me up to being willing to look at different opportunities. Any other questions? I think a network marketing opportunity, an affiliate opportunity, these are no-brainers. Like those are like having those as 2 of your 7, no-brainer to me. Now, where they fit in your 7 is up to you, right? But, and, I think having a couple of affiliate opportunities, if that's something that you enjoy and it's something that you like doing, and if you're in this group, then probably you do, or you think you might. Yeah, I quite enjoy the minimal time investment that I make into some of my affiliate opportunities that drop money in my bank account every month. What do you set up that doesn't involve the internet in case the internet goes down? Well, brick and mortar businesses, right? Different, more traditional types of investments. Yeah, what are some other suggestions? Drop your suggestions in the chats, you guys, for what can you do that's not internet based. Now, the reality is that the powers that be depend upon the internet to run their businesses as well. So I don't think that we're going to have a time anytime in the near future where the internet is going to completely go away. I just don't see that happening. But obviously, it's important to have diversified income streams in case that happens. Also things like investing in precious metals, right? That you have on hand that aren't in a bank, that aren't in there are things that you can do to protect yourself against the apocalypse, should it come, I guess, right? Or should it come more than it's already here? Maybe. Yeah, in-person events, physical community spaces, shared economy business models. Get creative. We are so dependent. I know we are so dependent on technology. We are so dependent on the internet. Like we can't, in our minds, we're like, we can't even imagine living without these tools, right? But we are very smart to put backup plans in place that don't actually involve those vehicles. I really believe that. Have at least one income stream that is not dependent upon modern technology or the internet. Property investment. You know what I mean? Like people are always going to need a place to live. Vending machines. Yes, I know people that make a lot of money in vending machines. I actually have a personal family friend who is a vending machine millionaire. And he started out with 2 machines and now he has a whole company. So that absolutely. Parking lots, parking garages, big money in that. Depending on the city you're in, you might not be able to get into it because there's a lot of organized crime there in that industry, right? But sanitation. Yeah, Airbnb. Okay, well, food for thought. Go out and start to contemplate how you can, well, first and foremost, just open yourself up to being presented different types of opportunities for investment, okay? And then be looking at really evaluating, do you have all your eggs in one basket? And if you do, how can you begin to shift so that that's not your current reality? So we have some other sessions coming up. I am dialing in Stephanie Rimka's session right now. I think that she's probably going to be next my next Wednesday, Tuesday evening in the United States. I'll get that one plugged in. We have beautiful Angie Southers, who is here live on the call with us, is doing a session on heart conscious leadership on Monday, the 22nd, which will be Sunday, the 21st evening for those of you in North America. And we will be plugging some more sessions in between now and then as well. So stay tuned. All right. Have an amazing rest of your day, morning, evening, wherever you are in the world. As you are catching this call or the replay, if you're here on the replay, give me a hashtag replay so I know that you were here. And that's it. Ciao.